Hello guys and welcome back to our 37th episode of our Satisfactory Let's Play, and today we're going to be checking out the fuel plant, hopefully finishing this so that we can start putting down those fuel generators and generating the power we need. So just to recap, this is going to be the heavy oil residue and also the resin, which is going to take the resin across to here, where we're going to be using the resin to create plastic and rubber. And then the heavy oil residue will go over to this section, which we just completed, which is going to be the diluted packaged fuel, which is obviously fed by these 80 packages, which are going to be also using those water extractors, which are fully overclocked. The diluted fuel then comes all the way along to these packages, which are just under these glass foundations, to become unpackaged, with the canisters being recycled and the fuel coming out this way to over here, where we will have all of our fuel generators. So that is the system that we've got going. Let's get over to the packages and try and sort out that little balancing issue that we had from last week. Okay, so what we're doing here as a kind of solution from getting those 7 belts to these 8 is we're going to... 8? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is there 7 there? Oh, dearie me. We're going to use an overflow method so that all of it gets overflown and then taken to the end. So we'll just take a couple of these off and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will work. So we're just going to replace this with a smart splitter and then set these to package fuel and then this one to overflow. And hopefully this will all work as planned once it's up and running. We'll find out shortly. So as you can see, we have set up this like load balancer system, I guess you could say. And so what happens is we have the belt with just 360 items running along here, and this is going to go all the way to the end, or at least to this halfway point where it will be split. Then excess items from each of these belts will be overflown to this line. Now, because there's so many resources that will be on this, we're actually having to overflow early and have these two separately feeding this along with any excess items. But hopefully this should work now, which means we can get on to decorating this and then getting started on the actual generators. So guys, we've now started working on the foundations for the generators. Now, as you can see, we have quite a few here. That's foundations, that is. We actually need a lot more because we're going to have to build 390 generators to cover this whole build. So what we're probably going to do is extend this line even further back, at least to here, and then we'll probably have 2 or 3 floors. Might be easier actually for me to separate them into pipelines and then doing X number of lines per floor. But that's the next thing that we need to do after we clean up and set up that packager site, because we need to decorate it. So what we're going to be doing here is building this. We're going to do this either side, so this is going to require this. We're also going to need to use the smart mod here in order to get this built within here. We'll delete this, and then if we grab this and then one of these, we can then add this ramp on top. Like so, either side, and then from here we will add these walkways. Nice and simple. Ooh, there we are. Same here. And then we also need one more of these just here. So we're going to do that on each section, and then we're going to build this up slightly as well. So this is the kind of look that I think we're going for. It's mimicking what we saw over at the main factory, as you can see over here, with this kind of like hangar bay lifted roof. So obviously the next thing that we're going to do is roof this whole area up, and then we're going to make it so that we can see through the foundations and have walkways within there. And then eventually we'll probably add something else within the top section, but I don't quite know what. But once we've got this frame up, we'll be able to sort it all out. It's just going to take us, a couple of hours. So as you can see, the roofing has gone pretty well, and what we've added on is a front arch that's much higher. This is going to be the top level of the roof, and inside there I think we might place some fuel generators if we can. I think that could work quite nicely, but it's certainly coming on. So there's one thing that I've noticed throughout this build, and that's how we don't have enough concrete. I've gone through easily 20,000 concrete today alone, and gradually we're running out of concrete. So we might have to build a new concrete factory sooner rather than later. So we're back at the factory, and it's time to place the power generators. We've managed to... Oh, we're too short. Don't worry, guys. We will make this fit. I promise you. I will fit this in. all we need is to like do this. Yeah, then we'll grab the generator, place that down, make sure it's in the right position there. Oh, actually, we could genuinely do this, couldn't we? If we go into the center, because smart mod allows us to clip, kind of. Can I call that acceptable clipping? If not, the next solution. Okay, oh no, no. Okay, right. So how do we do this? Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh wait, you've gone big again. Okay, we'll just move these all individually one by one into. Oh no, I can't even get it right. Okay, come on. There we go. Right, one. No. God. Oh. So it has been accepted in chat that we can use this, the smart mod, to clip this in ever so slightly. However, the one thing we do need to bear in mind is whether we will have smoke clipping through, which we will. So what we're going to do is if we place these down, I'm going to see if there's a solution for this smokestack. Ah, solution. What we might have to do is add maybe a walkway all along the top, like so, and then we'll have a little space. I just can I move this one more? I think we're gonna have to. I think we need to move this one more into the actual build. So as you can see, we've changed the output so they're facing the front, and so we're going to bring the fuel up and then decant them into these generators. Of course, we're going to have generators elsewhere because we need to find room for 390, and this is just, I think, 5. So we'll have 10 in here. Oh, goodness me. But still, it's coming along nicely. So as you can see, we've now added some of these lovely fuel generators. And these are just a handful of the 390 that we're going to need to place. And I still need to work out how we're going to bring the fuel up there as well. But I'm quite liking how tight this is. The next thing that we need to do is make sure the roof looks good, then bring all the cabling up to the top, and also work out something to do with all of this free space. But I'm still not quite sure as to what we're going to do with this. The roof has also been cleaned up a little bit, so we have the funnels just poking through and then railings either side. I think that's a nice little addition. This follows throughout. But the next thing that we need to do after all of that is to work out how we're going to place those other 380 fuel plants in this section here. But we'll get there eventually. Seeing as we have 380 of these to place, I've been playing around with this kind of architecture, and we're going to double this kind of diagonal look both on the top and the bottom of the row above if possible, and try and house them into like a framed generator setup. But we're going to need to get 50 per generator slot, so to speak, and then we'll try and attach it to this and we'll see how it looks. Hopefully we can get it to work. So this is the idea that we're going for each set of 50 generators. So these are going to be on the outside, and we are going to hopefully try and find a way to cover them. If not, we'll make it look nice somehow, aesthetically pleasing. So here you can see on the outside the kind of framework that we're going for. This isn't the finished product, but you can see the shape that we're getting out of it. And if we zoom out a bit more, you can see how it's coming along. I'm really liking this shape, and we're going to try and like bring the sides in as well. But we are going to have to do a total of 6 of these, no, 7 of these, nearly 8, oh goodness me, to get this to work. So I'm not sure how we're going to go about this because we're right on the edge. We'll see. Time will tell. So as you can see, the fuel generator section is coming along quite nicely. Again, we do have to clean up the sides, these little supports. But overall, I'm really happy with how these have turned out. And this is just 150. And along here, I also want to put a little walkway that would go down the center, and then there would be 2 manifolds either side. Well, a manifold either side of that feeding the generators. But hopefully, oh, cheeky little knee, pop it in there. You shouldn't be there. But hopefully each one of these should be able to take on a full Mark II pipe of fuel, if I've done my maths correct, which I probably haven't. So as you can see, guys, we've made a little bit of progress with the pipes. and the walkways as well. So these are all going along the middle and then dropping down. Now this should be a single Mark II pipe that's feeding into this, and then the rest going to the generators. It's definitely a different style for me, but I'm quite liking it. We just need more resources. This has taken up a huge amount of stuff. This also is just for 50 generators, and we do need 6 more of these. So it might be that we actually only do this as the flagship one, and then we do a slightly simpler design for the other, like, 6 that we need to do, because this has taken a good few hours. So we're back at our factory, and we've actually got a fair bit of concrete here, but we've been running so low recently that I think the only thing that we can do once we finish that first fuel generator section is that we build a dedicated concrete factory to drop off concrete over at the base that we're working on currently, because we're going through so much. So we will close this, head back, finish the work that we were working on, and then we're going to build a concrete factory using the wet concrete alternate, because it's so good. So as you can see, we've started covering this. We can actually fit the whole thing underneath the rooftop. So either we're going to cover this whole thing, or what we might do is lift up the roof a bit more, because it seems a bit of a shame to hide it all. But I really do like the build as it's coming along. It's something totally different, but I do need to redecorate underneath. But first, we're going to sort out that concrete factory. And here we are at the new location for our concrete factory. Now I need to work out what we're going to do here, because I think we should have a train track, like a train station here that connects back to this, and then we'll collect, if we jump out, we'll collect this, and also there's another fuel over there, I think. So we will use them and create the wet fuel, the wet concrete from the water down here, and then take it to the train station just up here. That is the plan. So you can see we have stopped ourselves right over here, and we've already started working on our little factory area. We're actually going to start off the next episode with blowing up this whole area so that we can reveal all of the nodes and get them producing resources for us for the wet concrete factory. So there we are, guys. We have finished this one. We haven't got the fuel running just yet, or these fuel generators, but you can see this factory is already coming along quite nicely, and we do want to make it look a little bit more prettier. Work on those architecture just over there. I definitely need to work on the underside, but I'm really happy with how this is. And this is the 50, like we said. It's just how are we going to fit the other 340? Yeah, 340 fuel generators in this plant. But I'm sure we'll come up with something. Anyway, guys, but that is all we have time for in this episode. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a thumbs up. And obviously, if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, guys, special thanks does go to our amazing supporters, most notably our Solar Eclipse patrons, The Calamity and Cerebral Tag, as well as our Lunar Eclipse patrons, Dixie Chris and James Irwin, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Shlom. Anyway, guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.